taunting the home team? Is that the worst thing they could possibly do? Meanwhile, the D in Big D stands for demand, which Mike Mack remains. But there's one key piece that may not be back. We'll tell you what that means. And then my hopes are up. I'm connecting dots. I'm speaking it into existence. Does yesterday's news mean what I think it does? We're going to find out. Oh, it's a Football Friday, people, and it starts right now. Let's go. As we get ready for championship weekend, we welcome you to Get Up, presented by IHOP, and take a look at the crew that we have put together for you this morning. Ninko is ready to go. Diana Rossini is ready to go. Ryan Clark is up early this morning as we count the hours away until we get two classic championship games. The point spread suggests we are on our way to a fabulous Sunday. We'll begin in the AFC Championship rematch in Kansas City, in a stadium that many Bengals are now calling Burrowhead instead of Arrowhead. That's just part of the trash talking. Listen to Willie Gay and Jamar Chase. They've got a lot to say.
What is it about that Bengals offense that maybe impresses you the most? You played them a few times?
Nothing.
Okay.
Right. Willie Gay was asked what impresses him about the Bengals offense today. He said nothing.
Willie, the linebacker. Yeah.
What's your reaction to that?
I ain't got no response for him. We're going to get him. I ain't got no response.
There's nothing better than pretending you don't know who someone is. Yeah. All right, RC, let's go. You're a veteran of a whole lot of big playoff games that involved a whole lot of talking. I personally like it. Do you?
No, I don't like it. Listen, we thought that after last year's divisional playoff round and the year before the AFC Championship between the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs, that this was our new Brady and Manning when you look at Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Well, it's actually turning out to be Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. And when you have these rivalries, there's usually this mutual respect. Also, when you have rivalries, both teams win. But right now, it's only the Cincinnati Bengals that are winning these games against the Kansas City Chiefs. And when you listen to the Burrowhead and some of the things coming out of Cincinnati, they're talking like a team that feels like they own the other. And then the saltiness and the chippiness from a guy like Willie Gay when asked about the Cincinnati Bengals offense to say nothing, well, he's lying, because everything about this offense impresses you. All of the skill players, the quarterback, the way that they move in and out of the run, to the play action pass, to the short passes, to different type of disguises and creativity, all of that junk is good. And so if you're Willie Gay and you're being honest and you haven't been beat 3 times out of the last 3 times, you say that. But isn't this what we want, right? We want 2 teams that don't like each other. We want 2 teams that don't respect each other, that possibly have the best 2 quarterbacks in the entire world facing off in the AFC Championship for the 2nd year in a row. This is the type of tension that you need. But better believe it, Willie Gay knows who in the hell plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. Plays for the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Cincinnati Bengals really don't care who plays for the Kansas City Chiefs.
You know what's been fascinating to me, Diana, is getting to know Ninko here, is that when this came up yesterday, we found this yesterday during the show, and he immediately goes directly into Belichick.
Well, Bill's calling him on the phone, like say nothing.
His reaction, what are we doing? Why don't you like it?
I mean, what are we doing, Greeny, here? Come on. Jeez. You know what's surprising, though, is, RC, the Steeler, doesn't like the trash talk. The Steelers and trash talk. Come on, they used to stand at the 50-yard line. I remember Joey Porter, he'd have his shirt up, he'd be flexing. He did a lot of triceps and biceps. I never saw him on the squat rack, though.
If you lifted as much as Joey did upper body, you would too.
No, I was with Joey. I remember Joey in Miami. Anyway.
But does it, you're just giving them motivation. What is it you don't like about it?
Because
Bill wouldn't like it.
This matchup, it's not like they were blowout matchups. They're 9 points separating the 3 victories.
True.
Field goals. So
all field goals.
If it was 14 points, 21 points, those are the ones where you're really like, okay, we blew the doors off these guys. They didn't even stand a chance. They're basically a series or a play away from winning and losing those matchups. I get it. They're 3-0. But at the end of the day, they got to win Super Bowl here. They have to get to back to where they were last year and actually win it before I can crown them as the, Burrowhead Stadium and all these things that's going into this thing. I get it. It's great. It's a rivalry. It's a matchup. But still got to have a little bit of respect here.
They've got the chip, right? You were telling me this morning, Diana. They're just a chip kind of team.
It kind of reminds me when Mariah Carey was asked about J-Lo. Mariah said, I don't know her, right? It's like now like the famous burn, right? And when you say I don't know them, you know exactly who they are. It's just your way of trying to get out of it. And the Bengals have done a really good job of keeping those receipts over the last 2 seasons. They've got T-shirts weekly. It's like one thing for a team to have a T-shirt that represents the year, the message for the team.
Yeah.
They literally have a new T-shirt every week. And we saw him last week tell Tracy Wolfson right after the game, get those refunds. And I remember hearing the interview in the press box thinking, wait, they used the fact that the AFC Championship game had a neutral site as motivation?
And they were selling tickets.
Zach Taylor is doing an incredible job of finding pieces of motivation to get this team going. And it's hard. We're in week, 21 now, to be able to continue to find ways. And look, this team is united on that front, and it works.
So all of that is fun, and it's great for people like us. It does not, however, necessarily impact what happens once the ball is kicked off on Sunday.
No.
What does is the ankle of Patrick Mahomes. And so, Diana, I circle immediately back to you. We have all been studying the tape, watching everything. This, of course, is when he got hurt last Saturday, I should say, against Jacksonville. But we've been watching, literally watching him walk to and from a podium has been fascinating. What do we know about the ankle?
No, and I'm going to be watching that tape on Sunday at the game during pregame to see how much tape he's actually using for that ankle.
Yeah.
He's not breaking stride. That's a really good sign, right? And that's his plant foot, it's his right ankle. That's obviously going to be crucial. But I still think the big question remains. We know he can drop back and pass, but how much is he going to be able to move? We saw in the last matchup against the Bengals, his creativity, his mobility was a gigantic reason why they had success. So what does this Kansas City Chiefs offense look like without that? We saw a little sliver of it against the Jags, right? Short passes. It still works. You know Andy Reid's going to be able to come up with a game plan. And that's really what I have my eye on, Mike. How much are they going to keep this offense balanced? Because you're going to probably have to run the ball a little bit more rather than what we've seen in the past where it's long, deep shots. It's going to have to be more even. 200 yards passing, 200 yards on the ground.
So, RC, let me put this as simply as I can. If Mahomes' mobility is limited by this, there's 2 pieces of the ankle. Can he plant and throw on it? Everyone seems to think the answer to that is yes. But if his mobility, that's the second piece, is limited, all those crazy off-schedule plays that he makes, if he can't do all that stuff, how much does it impact this game?
Well, first off, if they're expecting to run for 200 yards, then this is a different Kansas City Chiefs team than I've ever seen. And they're playing a Cincinnati Bengals defense that's going to lose Sam Hubbard, Trey Hendrickson, and Logan Wilson at the backer if they think that that's going to happen. But when you watch Patrick Mahomes move around the way he has throughout this week, and you think about some of the plays he was able to make in the second half against the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think we may be overblowing what's going on with his ankle. Patrick Mahomes is a guy that can throw from different arm angles. He understands manipulating the pocket in a way with his mind and his body where he could step up. He doesn't have to be Lamar Jackson. We're not asking him to be Jalen Hurts. His mobility is to create second play opportunities for guys like Travis Kelce and Juju Smith-Schuster. And I believe that he'll be able to do that. Now, we've seen some plays throughout the postseason of Patrick Mahomes getting first downs with his legs, turning those things into touchdowns as well. We may not see that type of mobility from him, but I believe he'll have enough to manipulate the pocket and still show the world that Patrick Mahomes is about his mind and his arms as much as he is about his mobility and his legs.
What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree with RC. And as a DB, RC understands plaster. The term plaster, what that is when the quarterback gets outside the pocket. As a defensive back, you just have to find a guy, and you have to get on a guy because it's so hard as a cover guy when the quarterback extends a play outside of the pocket to create coverage in 3 seconds, 4 seconds.
Right.
Beyond that, it's basically impossible. So if guys are close to the boundary, you're trying to push them out. So again, the ability for Patrick Mahomes to extend plays is what creates a lot of those secondary plays where it's just backyard football. Okay, so Kelce, for example, they played so long together that he knows, okay, if the play breaks down and I'm not getting the ball right now, I know where I'm going to go in the zone. So that's what makes Kansas City so special, that ability to just backyard football.
That's the stuff to watch with Mahomes on Sunday. How is he moving around and extending plays, and is that having its usual impact? Meanwhile, the NFC game is the early game. The Niners and the Eagles in Philadelphia, and it's a game that features the youngest quarterback matchup ever in a conference title game. You got Brock Purdy, you got Jalen Hurts. Their combined age, 47 years and 208 days. I'm 8 years older than that. In the meantime, 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy, just the 5th rookie to start a conference championship game. He'll be seeking to become the first ever to start in a Super Bowl if they should get there. On the other side, you got Hurts, 20-3 in his career when the Eagles are favored. That's second best.